Hello, fellow snobs. This is Science Fiction Snob, here to tell you about the future. A little bit different program today. I'm not going to be talking about reviewing anything, telling you what's good science fiction. We're going to tell you about the future. So, I asked on Twitter if anyone would like me to tell them what the future is. I don't normally do this, to be honest, because they're kind of looking for me. We're not supposed to do this. They could if they find out and track me down, they'll just cancel me in the future, and so I won't even be here. So if you're hearing this, that means that they didn't catch me. But with all this, I understand that you people are going through all this, a little bit of, upset. There's this virus thing that's going on. You're all worried about it. I just want to, make you feel a little bit better about what's going to happen. So maybe calm you down a little bit. So I'm going to break my rule for this time and tell you a little bit about what's going to happen. Now, some of you are kind of skeptical probably. You're thinking, oh, this is going to be one of those fake future answer things where they go, where you go to the genie and you ask for world peace, so the genie kills everyone on Earth but you, so the Earth is peaceful. Well, it's not going to be like that. I'm going to give you the truth, tell you what really happens in the future, to the best of my ability. All right. So let's jump right into it. So let's see. First, I'm just going to go through my question list here. So I'm not going to answer every question. Some of them follow the same general theme or basically are the same question. So I'm going to lump those questions all together and just, address them that way. So, hopefully I'll get to your question. If I don't, just because I didn't call your question out per se, doesn't mean I'm not going to answer it. It probably fit under something else. Okay, so first we got a bunch of the questions, the usual stuff, why are you so stupid? Why are you an idiot? This is fake, blah, blah, blah. Those aren't questions about the future, so I'm not going to answer them. Let's see. The next ones all have to do with, lotto numbers, that kind of thing. What are the lotto numbers for next week and all that kind of stuff. So, did anyone ever see that movie where they make the guy God for a week or something like that, and he gets tired of answering his prayers, so he just answers yes to everyone's prayer. So like 1 million people, want to win the lottery, and so they all win the lottery. Now, do you all want to? If I do that, then everyone will just win the lottery. Do you want to do you want to win the lottery and win like $18? Is that it? If it's that bad and you need the $18 that much, just send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and I'll send you $18. Okay, so that's my answer to you. The lottery. Tell me the lotto numbers. All right. Okay, let's get into the more serious questions now. Let's see. We have a question here. It says, "Will climate change kill us all?" So, if by climate change do you mean in like 4.5 billion years, when the sun goes supernova and destroys the solar system and kills all life on Earth, by that you mean climate change, then the answer is yes. If by climate change you mean all this global warming, global cooling, all this other crap, then the answer is no. Right? So, the truth of people is that climate change, all this crap, is just a scare tactic. In the 70s it was global cooling, and there's peak oil and population explosion, blah, 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 everything. These people just want to scare you. It's all BS. I mean, it started back in the late 1790s. Thomas Malthus was the first guy. He said, population growth is growing exponentially. Food growth is only growing. What's the word I'm looking for? So exponentially versus, not a straight line graph, but on a, just a straight graph, not exponentially. So we're all going to starve to death. And he said this, 200 years ago. And of course he didn't know that, we were going to be able to increase our food production exponentially because new technology, all that kind of stuff. So, these guys, they're the same. It's all the same. Oh, this is going to horribly thing happen, and then we invent something that takes care of it, or something like that. Climate change, you know, the climate's always going to change. We're going to figure out ways to solve it, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. So next question. All right. So Steve sent me a question here. Is a meteor, and he appended it later, asteroid, really going to cause the planet's sixth great extinction ever in 2029? So this is one of those questions where, like, he said meteor and then changed it to asteroid and stuff. I'm like, okay, I can be sneaky and say, oh, he said meteor, so the answer is no. And then when the asteroid hits in 2029, he's all like, hey, you told me, and I said no, it wasn't a meteor, it was an asteroid. Okay, so I'm not going to try those tricks with you guys. It's not fair. So, and again, I could say, the answer to this question is meteor or asteroid. The question is no, because of course everyone knows the extinction actually happens in 2027. So, there's your answer. So the answer to your question, Steve, is no. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to just leave you with that. The Great Extinction will take place in 2027. So, when you hire, when you're going to buy an appliance or something, don't bother going with the 10-year warranty. Just go with 7 years, because that's all you have. Of course, I'm kidding on that. You people have all seen, you've all seen those movies back 20 years ago or so. Armageddon, Deep Impact, all those things. The truth is that the government will put together a space thing or a laser or something like that. It depends on the timeline. Sometimes it's a laser. Sometimes they send people with a nuclear bomb. Sometimes it's all this other stuff. Whatever, doesn't really matter the details. They're going to send something up there and they'll destroy the asteroid. So you don't have to worry about it. We'll find a way. Some of these projects may be secret. Some of them won't be. So you may or may not know about them. It depends. Okay, so I think that answers your question, Steve. So the next question, will the COVID-19 vaccine cause genetic mutation, turning a small but infectious percentage of the population into zombies? The short answer is yes, but I feel that I need to expand a little bit about that, just in the sense, for honesty's sake. So the truth is that the COVID-19 vaccine and all other vaccines have been causing genetic mutation amongst a small group of humans since they started out with, and has been turning them into zombies. So you can see them around. They're walking around. They're staring down at their phones while they walk into telephone poles. They vote. They vote Democratic in the United States. These are all your zombies not paying attention. They've been being converted for 100 years, something like that, close to that, and that'll keep going on. The sheeple will continue to ignore what's going on, and they'll just be fed, their diet of pop culture and anime, and they'll just in porn, and they'll be like, yeah, all right. So the answer to that question is, of course, yes, because the vaccines will continue to. It's a process. It'll continue to be to turning people into zombies, as it has been for the last, as I said, 70, 100 years or so. Okay, so next thing, politics. I got a couple questions about politics, American politics. There's all this Trump and Biden stuff going on, cheating with the election, all this stuff. First thing I have to say is that, is it really that important to you? I mean, does it really matter? No civilization survives forever. I mean, do you really care if everything crashes around you during President Biden? Or do you want to wait a couple of years until President Ocasio-Cortez takes over and she brings about the end? I mean, it really doesn't matter in the big, when you're talking millions of years, it really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. But if you're very interested and you want to know, we'll talk a little bit about this American. So it's difficult because sometimes I can't be sure of what timeline I'm in. So I don't know exactly which way it's going to go. Right now, it looks like we're in a one of the Biden wins timelines. So that means each day that goes by, it just looks more and more like we're in a Biden wins timeline. So, if it's a Trump wins timeline, which like I said, is looking increasingly unlikely. If it's a Trump wins, then things will go on, pretty much per normal. They'll get better a little bit. The Republic will be saved for a little while until the Americans get stupid again and start voting for the various communists, and eventually their civilization will fall. If it's a Biden, I'd like to get a little more specific about this, because if it's a Biden win, if Biden becomes president, this is a little more interesting, and I can say with a little more confidence about how the timeline will likely go. So you'll see Biden in there. He will probably last 2 years and a day at least. The reason for this is because then it won't matter how crazy or how much he's obviously does dementia. It doesn't matter how bad it is now or how bad it's going to get. They'll try to wait 2 years. That way his vice president, she could come in after 2 years. She'll still get 2 years of presidency, and then that won't count as a if it's under 2 years, it doesn't count as a term. So she'll still be able to do another 2 terms, so potentially 10 years as president, right? 2 plus another 8 potentially. So that's what they'll try to do. The other thing to look for, big thing to look for, if there's a Biden presidency, is China will try to take over Taiwan. There will be a war against Taiwan. China will attempt to take it over, and that that one's questionable. It could go either way. The smart money's on China winning that, but that's the more likely outcome, the more likely paths. But I don't know that. It depends what timeline we're in, and there's too many variables and that sort of stuff. So those are all the questions I really had. If you're more interested in other questions, put the questions in the comments. I'll see if we get some good questions. Maybe I'll do this again. If I can confirm that I'll be able to. I'm gonna not get caught for this. I'll try to do it again. Well, we'll see what happens. All right. So I hope that answers your questions. I hope that makes you feel more confident in the future, and you can sleep better and not worry about this COVID stuff going on. And we'll see you next time.